Good day, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Vise Squad, brought to you by the Anadrom's Fly Company. This week, we're going to tie a little still water pattern. Rick asked for a little micro leech, so I decided to do an egg-sucking micro leech because they fish pretty good when the spawns are on. So, we're going to start with this is a size 12 curved nymph hook, and then I've got a 1/8 tungsten fluorescent orange bead on the front there, and I'm going to add a couple of wraps of lead here. This is 030, might be a little big, but we'll make it work. Let's put 5. 5 seems like a good number. Help you get down to the bottom. I'll just break that off. Push it up behind the bead and wrap that end around just to get it in line with the rest of it. Like so. Maybe you don't need the lead. I guess it depends on how deep you're fishing. But for this guy, we'll add lead. And we're going to use some 70 denier UTC in black. As I get my bobbin threaded here, there we go. So I'm going to start that in through the lead there, and we'll snip, if I can find my scissors here, tag off, and then I'm just going to run my thread through it. Like so. And we'll wind that thread down to about the barb, more or less. And then I'm going to create a dubbing loop. So to do that, I'm just going to pull out 6 or 7 inches of thread, 5 or 6 inches, whatever. And then I'm going to hold it with my finger, and I'm going to tie back over it. You can make a couple wraps on the back side too, really locks it into place. Like that. And then I'm going to wind my thread back up towards the bead. Leave that there a second, and then I'm going to grab my dubbing spinner. These come in all shapes and sizes, different things. And I'm just going to put that in my loop and let it hang there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a quick little whip finish in behind the bead and hold my thread off to the side on my bobbin holder. Next, what I'm going to do is grab some wax, if I can find it here. This is beeswax, and it just gives that dubbing a little something extra to hold on to. You can use dubbing wax as well, cobbler wax maybe, but we'll just put a bit of wax on that thread, and that'll help hold the dubbing, which we are going to use. This is Arizona Simi-Seal and blood leech. So what we'll do is we'll just grab a pinch out of the bag, and you want to sort of spread apart like that, and we'll just tuck it up in between the 2 strands of thread, and we'll just do that till we have, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 inches of dubbing there. We want this to be a little sparse. The one I had in the vise to start was a little heavy, a little thick in the body. So I'll just spread that out a little. Like that. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. We'll add another pinch in there anyway. Something to that effect. And then what we're going to do is take that spinner and we're going to just spin it, and that'll close the thread and lock all those fibers in there. And once we've got it nice and tight, which we're pretty close there, you want to be able to pull on them without them just falling out. I'm going to take a brush here, and I've got this is a plastic bristled brush. I usually use a brass brush for dubbing, but for this stuff here, I'm just going to use a plastic brush and just pull those fibers out. So anyway, we'll just pull some of those fibers out so they're not all bound up on the thread. Once we have all our fibers out, we're just going to take our vise, and you can spin it or you can wrap it however you like to do it. But we'll just slowly work our way forward. Sort of preening those dubbing fibers to the back. And when we get up to the bead, we'll grab our thread and we'll tie it off. And a couple wraps should be enough to hold it. And we'll snip that out of there. And we'll just build a little thread down at the front and grab our whip finish tool. And tie some knots in it, and we'll snip that out of there. Next, what we'll do is we'll grab that brush again and just start brushing it back. And if you find that that's not working well enough, you can always use, I've got a popsicle stick with some Velcro on it, and that does a nice job too of pulling all those fibers that might be trapped in there out. Something like that. Next, I'm just going to grab some bone dry, which is here somewhere as well. Here it is. And we'll just coat those thread wraps just to make them nice and solid. Like that. And we'll cure that with our light. Like so. So the next step, I'm not going to film, but what you should do at this point now is take this leech and get a coffee cup full of really hot water, boiling water, and dunk it in there. And what that'll do is if you let it sit, it'll relax all those fibers and they won't be so all over the place. And it'll make them all want to lay down, and you can sort of form the body of that leech and get them nice and slender like a leech is, instead of being so puffy like this. And then when they dry, they'll keep that shape a little better. At any rate, pretty simple little still water pattern. Definitely fun to fish under an indicator or just a slow retrieve across the bottom. If you like the video, folks, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell beside it. You won't miss any of our upcoming content, which there is all sorts of stuff going on every day. Rick is busy editing and posting, and got all sorts of stuff going on. If you'd like to look at our sponsors' materials, you can check out tools. You can go on fishingandoutdoors.ca for our Canadian customers and .net for our American friends, and you can check out all their stuff online. That's the Anadrom's Fly Company. At any rate, until next week, everyone, take care.